Brussels, EU interior ministers estimate that 3,000 young Europeans are fighting in Syria and Iraq. And the concern is their return to carry out attacks in Europe. Meanwhile, in a first-of-its-kind trial in Germany, a man was convicted of being an ISIL fighter. CCTV's Ira Spitzer reports.
Kreshnik B., as he's known here due to German privacy laws, traveled to Syria for 6 months last year to join ISIL militant fighters, also known as Islamic State. The 20-year-old, whose parents are from Kosovo, stood trial as a juvenile because the court decided he lacked maturity. That saved him from a potentially longer sentence than the 3 years and 9 months he received.
Sentences might seem light in an international comparison, but also I think the evidence is quite clear that locking people up isn't necessarily helping.
German authorities recently estimated that about 550 of its citizens have traveled to Iraq and Syria, and around 180 have returned. Figuring out how to keep that number from growing is a challenge. The German government recently called on Muslim states to help in the global fight against ISIL.
We must deny ISIS the ideological breeding ground, and Europeans and Americans can't do that. It needs to be Muslim states who say publicly that ISIS does not act accordingly to Islam.
Germany and other European countries have recently changed their laws to make it easier to prosecute suspected ISIL supporters. While those laws are designed to lessen the chance of an attack on European soil, there is also concern that they could lead to other problems.
Do you throw more policemen at the problem, or do you tighten the laws to give the existing policemen more rights to detain people or to prosecute people? And usually the latter is cheaper, and that's a danger.
Kreshnik B. probably didn't help his case during the trial when he said he still wanted to die as a martyr and that beheadings could be justified. But there was no evidence that he engaged in direct combat, and it seems he willingly left ISIL, so the hope is that he will have a different take on things after a few years behind bars.
This is just the beginning of many legal proceedings here involving suspected IS supporters. The German legal system is currently processing about 40 cases. Ira Spitzer, CCTV, Berlin.